Hello and welcome. For any broadcast engineer, there are very few things that get your heart racing quite like a transmitter failure. So in this explainer, we're going to walk through exactly what to do when your signal just goes silent. Now, before we really dive in, just a quick note. This is part 28 of the Modern Broadcast Transmission series. Today, our entire focus is on troubleshooting, because let's face it, when you're off the air, every single second counts. So let's set the scene. Picture it. It's a totally normal day, the station's running like a dream, and then nothing. The signal is just gone. This is exactly where your training and what we're talking about today kicks in.
Yeah, for a broadcaster, silence is absolutely not golden. It's a code red. It means all your listeners are hearing is dead air, and the pressure is on you to find the problem and find it fast. But don't panic. We've got a plan.
Okay, the good news is modern transmitters aren't these mysterious black boxes anymore. They actually come equipped with a really powerful set of tools to help you pinpoint exactly what's gone wrong. Let's take a look at your first line of defense.
So the most important thing is to start with what the transmitter is already telling you. You've got built-in diagnostics, a whole history of alarms, your own external gear, like spectrum analyzers. And if you've been doing your homework, a ton of data from your preventative maintenance logs.
And what's really cool about this is how it shows the new reality of engineering. Gone are the days of just staring at a bunch of analog meters. Today, you can log right into a web interface on your laptop and see everything. Voltages, temperatures, power levels, the status of every module. This dashboard, this is clue number one. All right, once you've got your initial data, it's time to start the investigation. And just like in any good mystery, there are always a few usual suspects that are responsible for the vast majority of transmitter failures. First up, the power amplifier modules. Now, these things are the real workhorses of the transmitter, and because of that, they're one of the most common failure points. But the great thing about modern modular designs is that an alarm will often point you to the exact failed module, letting you hot swap it without even taking the station off the air. How cool is that? Next, you're going to want to check the power supplies. A problem here can cause this whole cascade of really confusing symptoms because, everything else depends on getting clean, stable power. So if multiple systems are acting weird all at once, the power supply is a prime suspect for sure. Okay, the exciter. The exciter is literally the heart of the transmitter. It's what creates the actual modulated RF signal. So if the exciter fails, you're pretty much dead in the water. An exciter fault can mean no RF output at all, or a signal that's just completely distorted. A high VSWR alarm is a little different. VSW, that's voltage standing wave ratio. It measures how much power is being reflected back from the antenna. Think of it kind of like a clog in a pipe. A high VSWR alarm is the transmitter telling you, hey, the problem isn't me. It's something downstream in the transmission line or the antenna itself.
And finally, never ever forget the cooling system. These transmitters generate a massive amount of heat, and if that heat can't get out, things start to fail, and they fail fast. You'll see this as rising temperature alarms, which can actually trigger the transmitter to automatically cut back power or even shut down completely to protect itself.
All right, so you've identified the likely culprits. Now what? Well, you don't just start swapping out parts at random. No way. You need a systematic process, a clear, actionable plan to follow.
And this right here, this is your path to success. 1. Assess the alarms. 2. Collect hard data. 3. Isolate the fault. Don't guess. Use your data to narrow it down. 4. Make the repair. 5. Verify that everything's back to normal. And 6, and this one is so crucial, document everything. The next engineer who runs into this problem is going to thank you.
Of course, the absolute best way to troubleshoot a failure is to prevent it from ever happening in the first place. And that's where we shift our mindset from being a firefighter to being a strategist. This is why a preventative maintenance schedule is your best friend. Simple daily checks, weekly measurements, monthly cleanings, and these big annual deep dives, they can catch tiny issues before they become catastrophic off-air failures. This isn't just about cleaning filters. It's about building a history of data that can actually predict problems down the road. Now, a huge part of that strategy is having the right spare parts on hand. You don't need a whole warehouse, but you absolutely need those critical high-failure components like PA modules and power supplies ready to go. The real goal is to balance the cost of keeping that inventory against the massive, massive cost of being off the air. And, that really brings us to our final thought. As we've seen, modern tools give us this incredible diagnostic power, but the tools are only part of the equation. So the real question to ask yourself is this: are you simply waiting to fix what breaks, or are you actively building a system that's designed to never break in the first place? Something to think about. Thanks for joining me.